reaching people in a variety of different ways. So one of the things I like about doing visual arts is it's a different way of engaging people about issues that can, for some people, it's language. They want to read words, they read paper. For some people, it's visual. So I think having a variety of ways of messaging is really valuable. Whether it's visual arts is just one way. I mean, certainly music or dance or theater would be a valuable way to get that information out there.
Right. And you've been doing this type of symbolic visual art for a while, right? Is this your first time doing something so darkly natured?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, and people have been responding quite well on opening night. People really responding to it. I'm sure that on other endeavors you have with your puppetry, people respond well to it because visual is easy to take in. And this is a question to both of you, do you think it would be fair to suggest that maybe more harder hitting visual art initiatives should be put in place in places such as, education, elementary schools, or, maybe partnering with something of the sort to sort of give kids a bit of a look in, enough for them to take their own initiative after that?
I think elementary school is, I want to say
Maybe not
it's
elementary,
too
maybe
young,
like middle school,
but
7 to 8,
I'm not
secondary.
sure that, when you said elementary school, I know.
I didn't mean it. I didn't
No,
mean
it's
that. I
okay.
meant middle school.
It's okay, because it does happen in elementary
Yeah.
school. That was
And
the
I mean,
reaction.
we start teaching sex ed at around, grade 9, grade 8. So who's to say maybe an addition of education?
Well, I think they talk a lot about, good touch, bad touch, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
One of the best books that I ever read was Protecting the Gift, just in regards to parenthood, particularly women. Grow up and we're told you need to be nice. Well, there's a big difference between being a nice person and a good person. And I remember getting into a conversation or a debate with a professor at McMaster, and he said, I said, the language I used was fuck nice. And he said, explain it. And I said, I don't want to get into a big long thing about it, so I'm just going to bottom line it for you. I know a lot of nice pedophiles. I also worked corrections. So, there's a big difference between the two, and I think that when you're raising kids or talking to younger people, it's important that we, that's what my daughter grew up with, the difference between nice and good. Do you need it or do you want it? Where I would bring her into a mall, and for those who know me know that I hate malls, I'd rather put a fork in my eye. And she was like around 3 or 4, and I'd just say, okay, go find out where the bathroom is. I'm just gonna sit here because Mom's tired. And I would watch her, and then we would talk about, why'd you go to that person? And she'd go, well, she works here, or so on and so forth. We tell kids to go find a security guard, right? I don't know if you know, like Son of Sam, all those, there's a mess of serial killers that worked as security guards. I mean, go find a mom, right? So, and then we would discuss why she chose that person. We didn't get into a big discussion because she's just a little thing, right? She's not gonna get it, but it's just laying the foundation so that so I don't have a heart attack when she was about to turn 13, right? So.
Maybe to go to your question, or maybe teaching kids is one thing, but maybe we need to teach more adults on how to recognize or how to be available if someone needs, I wouldn't know, how would I recognize if some kid in my class, had a problem? How would I recognize that? So maybe we need to learn more of those triggers or whatever it is that we need to be aware of.
You want to take over?
Well,
is that a question directed to
no, I was just sort of adding on to yours about that, but no, sorry, I didn't mean to
No worries. I did the audio for this, but right now I'm just taking a backseat to record.
I think Robin could talk more about that part, but I was just wanted to kind of, like the idea, because you brought in the arts question, and while you might not want to bring that issue in young, I do think that there is, unfortunate movement away from arts, and I
Yeah.
think that
Away from art?
away from the arts in school, and especially more at higher, like secondary, not, or post-secondary institutions.
Yeah.
So I think that arts need to be, from everything I've read about schools, and that the arts, you know, you sometimes can go into really tough schools, but when you really, you know, bring in an arts program, a really good solid arts program, and really, and how that can be throughout all, like you can, you know, still have teach sciences, but also there's ways of doing that with art as well. I think that's really valuable, and then maybe, you know, have art certainly at the younger ages, and then different, as we get, you know, into later grades,
Yeah.
and they can explore those issues artistically as well.
I think also in regards to art, a lot of times we use it for therapy for young children. Instead of waiting till the shit hits the fan, it would be nice if the government supported the arts all the way through, because it's incredibly telling when you see the artwork of a child. Right? You can see it where they may not be able to voice it. My abuse started my sexual abuse started when I was prior to being potty trained. So I was probably around 2, 1.5, 2. The first time I was sold, I was 8 or 9. But I certainly didn't have the ability to voice what was going on. I didn't have the words as a child, and by 8 or 9, I just didn't have the capacity because I had already shut down. There is, and these, people can take these, so the stickers come off, right? So if you see somebody, you can always hand them one. They also do, this is through the YWCA. Is it YW? Oh, YMCA as well. They also have little compacts that they can give out. It's got the phone number on, because if a trafficker sees this, he's just going to assume it's some kind of advertising for eyelashes. Okay, so staying on top of it is really difficult. Originally, MAC, the cosmetic brand, I think it was, had given a whole bunch of empty lipstick containers, and we'd roll up the phone numbers and put it in. They do that right across Canada, but traffickers start to, you know, they clue in, right? So we kind of had to move from little lipsticks to, and how do you, when you see somebody, lack of eye contact, disheveled, unable to, if they're with somebody, they don't speak for themselves. Gratefully, we've come a long way. The airlines now, and I'm not sure if it's all of them, train their stewards and stewardesses to be able to spot, and there's been a couple of people that have been apprehended and victims saved as a result of being on a plane and not being able to make eye contact, not being, you know, allowed to speak for themselves, so on and so forth. It's a difficult topic as far as what do you do when you see somebody, because you also don't want to get them in further hot water, right? So you can hand them a brochure, just the human contact. I think when I look back, one of the things that was the most painful for me spiritually and emotionally and mentally was when people on the streets looked at me as if I was invisible or I was less than human. Or they looked at me with disgust, the judgment. Those things, and believe me, I mean, I've been beaten beyond belief. I've been transported across state lines in the trunk of a car. I've been turned into a heroin addict, which I'm no longer. But that was the most painful, was regular folks just not, you know, seeing me in judgment.